skate, 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 side stop. Oh, hey, how you doing? It's me, Chad, the host of News Time. I'm doing this week's episode about the NHL and its new deal with Disney and Warner Media. And it's going to be great. Everybody's going to get to be able to watch all of these great hockey games. And look, if you don't know, one thing about me, I love hockey, as you just saw by that awesome entrance I just had. I got my regulation hockey stick right here, as long as can be, very metal, very thin. And also I have the thing that goalies wear that protects their arms from what I can only assume is the velocity of the puck and or slashes from skates. Speaking of which, I am totally wearing skates on my hardwood floors. You just can't see, and I'm not able to lift my feet as high. The yoga is not working. Anyway, I gotta get ready to go shoot this episode of News Time, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go play some more hockey. Skate, skate, skate. Oh, by the way, this is my mask for hockey. Skate.
It's News Time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the hockey news you didn't know about. Ah, yes, October. It's the best time of the year. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, and literally every other major sport coincide for a few weeks to give us nonstop events to watch. This year in sports is going to be different. Players, coaches, and staff have to contend with getting vaccinated against the coronavirus or risk losing their jobs. Streamers are vying for sports viewers, so a couple of those platforms are buying rights to a certain amount of games. Look at Paramount Plus and Peacock. Both have become streaming havens for soccer. Then there's broadcast and cable, where networks are doubling, even tripling down on how they air sports. Which brings us to this week's topic, hockey on cable. After 100 plus years, hockey is looking to reinvent itself. Much like the kid at your high school who pissed his pants 3 days in a row because he was afraid to confront his bully teacher by asking them if he could use the restroom. We used to call him Pissy Harold. We weren't very imaginative. When we graduated, that kid moved across the country to go to Grand Canyon University, where he's the president of the 13-person mixed-gender Greek life house, the Beta Pi Chis, where there's always one person who doesn't get to hook up with anyone because everyone's already paired off. Hint, it's him. He's still on the bottom even though he's on the top. But then he comes back to the 10-year reunion and tells everyone, quote, how much gash he's snagging. Gross, Pissy Harold. Gross. Warner Media is worth it. Warner Media and Disney see the goals in getting goals. Disney in particular was ready to get back into the NHL fold. ESPN carried rights to the games from 92 to 04 before the league headed to NBC for 16 years. Matches will then be split between TNT and ESPN, with the latter airing 75 games on streaming and the former getting the same option for HBO Max down the line. Hockey isn't exactly a ratings hit. This year's Stanley Cup final garnered a measly 3.62 million viewers. That number was technically a bump, yet it still lags far behind MLB, NFL, and NBA ratings. Over the course of the 5 final games, viewer numbers averaged 2.52 million. While the deal may seem textbook for ESPN and Disney, it's Warner Media's Turner Sports imprint and TNT that raise eyebrows. The new 7-year deal is much more lucrative than the NBC one, given that viewers actually watch TNT and don't know what channel NBC Sports is on. Go find it. Turner already carries MLB and NBA games, not to mention the still new all-elite wrestling that is proven to be fruitful. We know ESPN will get 75 games to air on streaming, which leaves 25 games headed to broadcast between it and ABC. Turner, on the other hand, will get 72 regular season games. The first 50 games have been announced for Turner Sports, who will get to air special outdoor games like Winter Classic. Additionally, the announcing team is made up of all-stars like Wayne Gretzky and Jennifer Botterill. The approach Turner is taking is much like how they handle inside the NBA. Thoughtfully throw together a couple of personalities, put some money behind the broadcast, and watch the viewers roll in or skate in, whatever. I, for one, can't wait for Anson Carter and Rick Tocchet to argue about who has more rings and who can whoop whose ass. I'm gonna get you, Rick Tocchet. Speaking of bad impressions, there might be a hint to crossover as we skate deeper into the season with crossover between the NBA and NHL commentators. It's like the Arrowverse Crisis crossovers, except this time it's way less disappointing. In fact, the new broadcast has already been praised for its unobtrusive score display and the willingness of the analysts to leave the desk as they comment on what happened during the game. Not to mention all the errors during the broadcast. Signals were bad, and video would be played at 4 times speed. It wasn't perfect, but man, it was fun, just like inside the NBA. NHL on TNT and ESPN is going to be the breath of fresh air sports broadcasting needs. The NFL added an all-Manning broadcast for Monday Night Football. Soccer is having a big renaissance in the U.S. thanks to streaming and Ted Lasso. It's about time the NHL has its due. Maybe I'll be a fan, or maybe I'll just put it on the background as I play my Switch. Either way, you get one extra viewer. So, win-win. Listen, speaking of one extra viewer, can I just get one extra of you to subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where I talk to your favorite comedians and they wonder what they're doing with their careers at that point. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And I gotta go make fun of Pissy Harold again because he's talking about Gash like no other.